Yeah,
This call is
I
being
can't believe
recorded.
that we're already 30 days out. We're into the second month. We're more than 30 days out. We're into the second month of this new year, and time is absolutely moving. Time is absolutely moving. And the truth of the matter is, for some of us, our year have started out absolutely amazing. And for some of us, for others, it has been a struggle. If Coach Dan can be honest with you, for him, it has been a struggle. This year has not proven to be thus far um, the type of kickoff to a year that I'd like to. Matter of fact, I said last night, I said, this cannot be an indication of what this year is going to look like. From in the middle of major deals to someone trying to get credit cards and stuff in my name and messing up my credit profile to a worker almost cutting off his hand at, at work to all kind of stuff that's just been absolutely crazy. So much to the point where I made a statement and I made a declaration that I had to go back on and say, man, I don't want to be bothered with none of this. I am tired. I was speaking in Orlando last week. I had to speak about 4 times within a 3-day period, and each time it was to similarly a different audience. One audience was the church. Another audience was a group of leaders from across the country, spoke twice to them. And then another audience was um, Hilton, the hotel chain for Hilton Corporate. I was tasked with helping to kick off their sales year for the southern region to help their top salespeople reach $100 million in sales for this particular 2025 season. And the truth of the matter is, when I spoke at the church, I began to talk about a concept or an idea called faith fatigue. Faith fatigue. The truth is, every person that's on this line right now, every person that's under the sound of my voice, you are doing what you are doing because you have faith and you believe that you can be successful. You have faith and you believe that eventually the work that you are investing in is going to pay off. The truth is you jumped on it, and in jumping on these opportunities, there's a level of excitement and there is a level of enthusiasm that would suggest that this is going to happen. And then all of a sudden, things are not happening the way this looked like it would. Things are not happening in the way that you thought that it would happen or that you were even told that it could happen. The truth of the matter is, you've been fighting to see it work. And I don't know if anybody else on the line can understand this concept, but there are moments where you just get tired of fighting. There's moments where Coach Dan, Pastor Dan, Brother Dan, whatever title that you want to give me, there are moments where I get tired. As great as life is, there's some aspects of my life and aspects of what I have to do to be able to experience greatness. It's not fun and it gets tiring. And so there's a concept that I was inspired. Let's say I was inspired to embrace, and this concept is called faith fatigue. Faith fatigue is a complex interplay of both spiritual, emotional, and mental strain. From a theological perspective, it is a divine process of refinement. Listen to this now. From a theological perspective, it is a divine process of refinement. However, from a philosophical perspective, it forces us to confront um, the limits of our human understanding. From a psychological perspective, it challenges our endurance and our emotional stability. When you undergo faith fatigue, you wrestle, for those of us that have a relationship with God, you wrestle with the fact that I'm going through this because God is getting ready to pull me out of it. God is preparing me while I'm going through it based on the fact that he's going to get ready to pull me out of it. The second aspect of this idea of faith fatigue is the philosophical aspect that forces us to understand that in our humanity, there are limitations. In our humanity, there is also frailty. In our humanity, we find ourselves struggling with the context of the culture by which we live, the family by which we were born in, and the loneliness by which we experience when we feel like we're all by ourselves. This is what we become tired, and we lose the hope, and we lose the ambition, and we lose the desire to continue to push. But what I want us to understand is that when those of us that truly believe, those of us that truly believe that we can, those of us that truly believe that we will, those of us that truly believe that is possible, and those of us that truly believe in our God, the truth of the matter is the fact that you continue to fight when you're for what you are believing for, when you're tired of fighting, that's when faith begins to kick in, and it launches you into another realm where you get your supernatural powers. Y'all got to catch this. And when you get your supernatural powers gives you the ability to literally run through troops and leap over walls. When you get this supernatural power, the supernatural power says that if I can overcome that, then this is not going to be nothing but a light thing. And so my encouragement for you today is to change the perspective of how you're looking at the process that you're going through for the sake of pursuing the promise. You have to change the lens by how you are viewing your process experience. Wait a minute. What do you mean? Change the lens by how I'm viewing my process experience. Well, here's the deal. If I look at the fact, man, somebody then tapped into my credit profile. Man, somebody is getting credit cards in my name and running up all of these inquiries and driving my score down. If I look at this as, man, as a result of that, it's causing things that I have in underwriting to be looked at in a different context, and it could potentially kill the deal. If I look at the fact that this young man almost cut his hand off on yesterday, and the first thing he does when he gets to the hospital is say, my company is paying for it. If I look at the cost that I was going to make on that job to the cost that I got to pay out of my pocket to make certain this young man is made whole, when I look at all of these things, I can begin to ask questions like, why is all of this happening to me? Why am I going through all of this stuff? Why? And I can become tired, emotionally tired, spiritually tired, physically tired, mentally tired. And the truth of the matter is, y'all, can I help y'all out? Every day I've been fighting being tired. But here's the deal. I'm going to keep fighting because I had to change my perspective of the process that I'm currently going through. What are you saying, Coach Dan? I'm not looking at it from the perspective of what's happening to me. I'm looking at it from the perspective of what God is getting ready to do for me. Are y'all seeing this? And because I know that if I just make a decision not to get weary in well-doing, I got a due season that's coming that I'm getting ready to reap from. If all of this stuff is coming at me at once, then there's something on the other side that's going to be 10 times greater. because this light affliction can only last but for a moment. And this present suffering cannot compare to a greater glory. Now, listen, if you don't believe in that mindset, I understand. I got you. That's just who I am. But if you could just believe that if you keep on swinging, if you keep on fighting, if you keep on pushing, eventually what you're going to see is you're going to see the manifestation of the work, of the energy, and of the effort that you're putting in to achieve your particular goal. But if you quit in the process, if you give up in the process, if you throw in the towel in the process, if you stop waking up, if you stop giving, if you stop waking up, if you stop getting up, if you stop pushing, then you'll never see it, and you've already surrendered to defeat. I'll end this in my last 2 minutes. I'm going to give you 2 stories in 2 minutes. The first story that I'm going to give you is that I was, as I'm going through this major acquisition, meeting with multiple banks and all of this kind of stuff, I'm told by one of the bankers that, Mr. Johnson, your profile is great. You have everything that you need, but the business that you're seeking to acquire is not worth what they're asking for. And it's hard-pressed for us to invest 7 figures into a business that has proven itself to be declining over the past several years. And she said to me, the truth of the matter is, Mr. Johnson, you won't find any bank that is willing to do this deal. And so I rose up from the table with my shoulders high and my head high and my chest poked out. And I went on and I continued to meet with banks. And certain banks will give me hope, but then they'll come back to the same story. And then I'll begin to say to my admin, I'm getting tired of this. I'm tired of going through it. I'm tired of fighting, but I just believe that God has given me a vision for this. And she said, well, you cannot quit. And then all of a sudden I got a call from another bank. And this bank said, hey, Mr. Johnson, listen, you don't have to send me no more financials or anything from the business because we know that business is not going to do any good. That business is not a viable business. But what we believe in is your projections. We believe in your vision to be able to turn this business around. So I'm going to say to you, it's time to progress to the second phase of this process and connect you with our SBA person who also have looked at it and said they believe they can make it happen because we need them to get this done. So all of a sudden, what did this particular bank do? In the midst of me feeling hopeless, they breathed hope on this particular deal. And in the midst of that, it caused me to get a renewed strength to continue to fight. I want today to be a day of hope. I want to breathe hope on what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're pursuing, what it is that you're seeking to accomplish. And regardless of all of the noise that's around you, regardless of all of the things that seems like it's falling apart or it's not working, and I know I may only be talking to 10 people on the call, I want to breathe hope on you to let you know that as long as you got breath in your body and as long as you got a will to win, that it is still possible. Don't give up on the possibility because you're looking at something that feels like it's impossible. Because it is those that decided to push anyway, where greatness became part of their historical context. And so I want you to know that if you're going through hell like it feels like I am, just going through it, you're going to come out. And when you come out, you're going through the fire, but you may have been through the fire, but they won't smell the smoke. It won't even look like you've been through it when you came out of it because of the grace and because of the victory and because of the dominion that you're going to be walking in as you decide to go through it. Well, I had said I had 2 stories in 2 minutes. I lied to you. I took one story in 4 minutes, so I won't tell the other story. But I want you to know that hope is still here if you're still willing to embrace it. That's all I got for you. I'm going to pass this back. I hope it was worth the interruption. I know Kathy was going to drop something absolutely amazing on you. Thank you so much for your time. Until next time, as always, prosper.
Oh my gosh. Am I glad that you were here? Listen, folks, it didn't matter what I was getting ready to drop, it would have only been a filler for this type of testimony. Yes, I'm so glad that you were here, Coach Dan. And listen, thank you for that encouragement because I feel confident that you were talking to way more than 10 of us that have trials and tribulations right early here in 2025. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing your story and sharing those nuggets with us. They were much needed. Great way to start the morning. Guys, this is Tuesday. This is the day when Dr. Betty shares her expertise along with people um, on the advisory board. Dr. Betty, if you want to go ahead and unmute and let us know what you'll be speaking on tonight. Dr. Betty?
I am here. Stay clean, everybody. So tonight it's a surprise. But we
All
are
right.
it's definitely a surprise.
All
But
right.
it's going to be something that you are going to love, something you are going to be able to use to catapult your health and wellness to another level. So I look forward to seeing you this evening. Ciao.
Maybe we can convince Dr. Betty to talk about that Valentine's pack with those products in there. And what they
Hmm.
do for us since it's 10 days before Valentine's Day. I'm just
Yeah, how about
saying,
that?
Daddy, how about that? Well, guys,
Okay, if that's what
rebounding. Hey, look at that. Look at that. We gave you a subject.
definitely.
All
you
right.
know, I,
Well, join us for rebounding right after this. And guys, thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you again, Dr. Betty. And thank you, Coach Dan, for everything that you do. And we want you to get refreshed and tired, not tired in faith. So have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. And you guys have a wonderful Akana Kana day.